I resisted at the time. "Give me a tissue," Tyler ordered. I immediately pulled a tissue from my pocket. Tyler snatched it and began roughly wiping my lips. He scrubbed so hard that the corners of my mouth nearly shifted out of place, yet he still wouldn't stop. "Why didn't your mom just put your mouth on your butt when she gave birth to you? Wouldn't that have been safer?" I couldn't hold back my laughter at Tyler's ridiculous idea. If that were the case, he wouldn't be able to kiss me either. "Tyler, you're not mad anymore, right?" In the past, he'd at least ignore me for a whole week. "I'm so mad I died and came back to life." He was clearly still upset. What's the point of being angry? Should I throw myself out of the solar system to cool off? "Tyler, should we ride the Ferris wheel?" I looked at him with hopeful eyes, pointing at the towering Ferris wheel above us. "If you don't want me to throw you down from there, I suggest you never sit on the Ferris wheel again." As expected, it's a no-go. I originally intended to see the Ferris wheel as the final stop of happiness. But I can't tell Tyler about the legend of the Ferris wheel. If I do, he'll definitely get angry and throw me out of the solar system, especially since earlier, Oscar and I already had that incident on the Ferris wheel. 03, Locking Love. Leaving the amusement park, Tyler didn't head home right away but instead pulled me onto a long-distance bus. When I asked him where we were going, he didn't give a direct answer and only said, "You'll know when we get there." On the bus, he held my hand, rested his head on my shoulder, and fell asleep like a child. I remembered Big M once saying that Tyler was a very cautious person. No matter how tired he was, he would never sleep without being on guard. For him to sleep so soundly, it must be because he was exhausted from searching for me earlier. He held my hand tightly, probably afraid that I'd run away again, just like last time. It wasn't until the bus stopped at the final station that I woke Tyler up. He pulled me into a guest house and, without waiting for my consent, immediately rented a double room. The guest house was somewhat simple, yet it seemed to have a good number of guests staying. While having dinner at the guest house's restaurant, Tyler told me that this place was actually a tourist spot. Nearby, there was a famous mountain in the country called the Valley of Love, which was the reason we had come here. After eating and taking a shower, Tyler lay face down on the bed and fell into a deep sleep. It seemed like I was the only one still anticipating something. He mentioned that tomorrow we'd have to climb several hundred meters up the mountain, which would be exhausting, so he told me to go to bed early too. If it's going to be so tiring, why is he so determined to climb that mountain? Tyler's actions remain as puzzling as ever. The next day. Last night, I couldn't sleep at all, but early in the morning, an energetic Tyler woke me up. The hostel's bus took us halfway up the mountain to the Valley of Love. The rugged mountain path beyond that point was inaccessible by vehicle, so we had no choice but to hike the rest of the way. Using all my strength, nearly exhausted, and overcoming countless challenges, I finally made it to the summit. Standing atop the mountain, looking down at the determined crowd below and up at the majestic river and mountain scenery, I suddenly felt that all the hardships were truly worth it. This place is called the Valley of Love, because it was naturally formed by two mountains shaped like human figures. Between the two mountains lies a suspension bridge about 50 meters long, known as the Chain of Love of the Mountain God, symbolizing a love as steadfast as the mountains themselves. On this sturdy suspension bridge, countless love locks are hung, locks engraved with the names of couples. Just as I was about to carve one, Tyler approached me casually, already holding a lock engraved with our names. Love locks have no keys. Once locked, they cannot be opened again. I told you, didn't I? I'll lock you by my side so you can't escape. The lock with our names was firmly secured on the Chain of Love of the Mountain God. So that's what Tyler meant by those words. It turns out he's truly an unpredictable person. But today, I am truly very happy, so happy that it feels terrifying. It turns out that the more you like someone, the more intense the emotions are. It feels as though I've reached the peak of happiness, yet at any moment, it could all come crashing down. On the mountain god's love chain, just as I was overcome with fear, Tyler pulled me into his arms and gave me a deep kiss. It was incredible. I had thought Tyler would never kiss me again. These restless lips of mine, once kissed by Leo Carter, then by Oscar, made me believe I would never receive another gentle kiss from Tyler. I was so overwhelmed with happiness that tears streamed down my face, and I suddenly felt dizzy. If Tyler hadn't held on to me, I might have fallen into an endless abyss. 04, Hi Mia Thompson. The next day. That day, at school, Mia Thompson showed no unusual behavior. Even though she asked why I suddenly disappeared, I could only lie and say I got lost while looking for the restroom, and luckily, that lie passed without suspicion. After school, just as I stepped out of the school gate, a man in plain clothes unexpectedly blocked my way. Looking up, it turned out to be Oscar. This guy really had the nerve to show up in front of me. If it weren't for worrying that Mia Thompson might see yesterday, Tyler and I would have given him a good beating. Mia Thompson is on cleaning duty today, but she'll be out soon, I kindly reminded him. I'm here today to see you. I tried to walk around him and continue on my way, but he blocked me again. When Mia Thompson isn't around, I don't want any connection with someone like you. That might have been a bit harsh, but to protect Mia Thompson and Tyler, I had to be firm with Oscar. Meet her just once. If after meeting her, you're still determined to go down that path, I won't interfere with you two anymore, Oscar said. Confidently, stepping forward quickly. He wants me to meet his sister. Even if we meet, the result won't change. But Oscar's back, which usually annoyed me, suddenly became a powerful magnet, pulling me to follow him unconsciously. Oscar's older sister had gotten married and moved out of this town. It took us half an hour by subway to reach her house. Oscar's sister must have married someone wealthy. Although her house wasn't as big as Leo Carter's, it was several times larger than mine. Oh, forget it. There's no point in comparing, as my house is just plain average. The first time I saw Oscar's sister, the feeling she gave me was that of a gentle mother. She held a baby just a few months old, softly humming lullabies. Mia Thompson, I brought you here to meet my sister. Hearing how Oscar addressed his sister, I froze for a few seconds in shock. Mia Thompson. So his sister's name is also Mia Thompson. In that case, it's highly possible that Oscar doesn't like my friend, Mia Thompson, at all, but rather, she's just a substitute for his sister. Moreover, just like Tyler, he doesn't use sister or brother in his speech. Are you a student? Oscar's sister looked at me kindly and spoke in a tone of an elder. You need to keep boundaries when dealing with students. It's not like that. We're just ordinary friends. I hurriedly explained, Oscar's girlfriend is my best friend. In reality, Oscar and I couldn't even be considered ordinary friends, but in such an urgent situation, that was all I could say. Isn't it the same thing? Oscar's sister retorted bluntly. The result really isn't much different. After staying for a while, Oscar's sister and I had absolutely no common topics to talk about. Playing with the child was the only way to break the awkwardness. Oscar, in front of his sister, was also very quiet, no talking, no smiling, just silently sitting in the corner. If I marry someone else in the future, will Tyler treat me like a stranger too? The Oscar today and the Oscar yesterday seem like two completely different people. Which one is the facade, and which one is the real him? Sensing that Oscar was uncomfortable here, I suggested that we leave. Oscar's sister didn't try to stop us, only cheerfully told the child to say goodbye to us. 05, are you happy? When Oscar had gone quite far away, I finally opened up and asked Oscar's sister a question that had always lingered in my heart. Mia Thompson, are you happy now? Why are you suddenly asking this? She initially responded with surprise but quickly answered my question, my child and I are very happy. She looked at her child, wearing a sincere smile. Do you love your husband? He treats me very well and has given me and my child a complete family. Why? She didn't directly answer my question, which implied that she didn't truly love her husband, right? In fact, I wanted to ask her, if you don't love him, why did you marry him? But that question got stuck in my throat, unable to come out. If she feels happy now, perhaps there's no need for further explanation. Couldn't Oscar give you a complete family? At this moment, she looked into the distance where Oscar stood, far enough away that he couldn't hear our conversation. Even though we're not related by blood, on the household registration papers, we are siblings. My child has a father, a mother, grandparents, and an uncle. This is what I want to give my child, happiness. When she mentioned uncle, she clearly emphasized her tone. All right, I completely understand now. I understand that Oscar's sister actually always loved him, but she was afraid her child wouldn't be able to accept the truth that their paternal grandparents are also their maternal grandparents. As long as she marries someone unrelated, her child will have everything that can be called happiness. Ha ha. The act of imposing one's so-called happiness onto others is truly ridiculous. Does having many relatives necessarily mean happiness? But Oscar is left alone in sadness, such a pitiful child. I absolutely won't let Tyler become another Oscar. Therefore, Oscar, I'm sorry, but the purpose of you bringing me to meet your sister this time has completely backfired. Oscar. I can once again assure you, I will absolutely never leave Tyler. I said with determination stronger than any vow to the gods. I'm really envious of Tyler Bloom. Why did he get to meet you? Oscar's deep voice was filled with sorrow. Because he is Tyler Bloom, the younger brother I love the most. Oscar's sorrowful figure gradually disappeared before my eyes. Love, from beginning to end, is only a matter of one person. If we always try to please the other, it will only add burdens to both. We just need to follow our feelings and do what our hearts desire. Because two people who truly love each other will naturally harmonize without needing to force it. That is true love. I believe Oscar will surely find this truth by Mia Thompson's side. It was past 11 p.m., and just as I was about to head to my room to sleep, Tyler finally came home from work. This week, he must be insanely busy. After the Follow Me modeling competition, Tyler's popularity skyrocketed, and countless organizations want to collaborate with him. On top of that, our dates on Saturday and Sunday have caused a pile-up of work. Work is important, but if it exhausts the body, it becomes quite troublesome. 06, prepare a reason. Tyler, have you had dinner yet? Where did you go after school today? Tyler looked at me with sharp eyes and asked. Did Tyler see me with Oscar after school? Impossible. When I left with Oscar, I clearly checked carefully to make sure no one familiar was around. After school, I went to attend a club activity. Speaking of club activities, in fact, I haven't participated in one for a long time. Next time before lying to me, please come up with a better excuse, will you? As expected, Tyler found out. He questioned me skeptically. Someone saw you leaving school with a guy in casual clothes. It's that crazy Oscar, isn't it? Oscar is a crazy person. I won't deny that point. We'll talk about this tomorrow, it's already very late now. It's not that I don't want to explain to Tyler, but it's really too late, and he needs rest more than anything. As I was about to turn and head back to my room, Tyler grabbed my arm tightly. How do you expect me to get through the night? Just thinking about you being with that crazy guy makes me want to lose my mind. Our adorable Tyler seemed like he was about to cry. So, the only option left was to recount the entire story to him from beginning to end. Starting from the amusement park incident, including everything about Oscar and his sister, I didn't leave out a single detail as I told Tyler. Tyler's hatred for Oscar immediately turned into sympathy. But his mouth didn't stop complaining, saying that Oscar was nothing but a fool. If it were him, he would have taken strong measures to prevent such a tragedy from happening. Hearing him say that, I genuinely felt satisfied. 07, I have graduated in the upcoming period, everyone is incredibly busy. Tyler's work seems endless every day, while Mia Thompson and I have entered full preparation mode for the graduate school entrance exams. Graduate school exams are inherently stressful, but we were careless, letting time slip by uselessly, only to suddenly realize we've entered the countdown phase. Initially, I didn't have much confidence in Casbia Academy of Arts, but at this moment, Nicotine has given me strength. He mentioned that the school had reviewed the Follow Me competition and highly appreciated the winning collection. Through the program, they learned that the collection was an original work by a student. They tried to contact the staff to find either Tyler or me, but the company's professional staff kept contestant information confidential. Eventually, through some connections, they managed to reach Nicotine. After enrolling in Casbia Academy of Arts, I'll have to temporarily part ways with Tyler and my parents. Although the time apart isn't too long, just about 2 or 3 years, and I'm sure I'll return home during winter and summer breaks, I still feel reluctant and emotional about leaving. At this moment, Tyler seems completely calm. With a "this doesn't concern me" attitude, he eats, sleeps and teases me as usual every single day. Casbia Academy of Arts isn't too far from my home, about an hour's drive, but commuting daily would take several hours. Therefore, staying in the campus dormitory is the inevitable choice. Once I leave home, I won't be able to see Tyler every day anymore. Doesn't he feel even a little lonely about that? July at the age of 20 is the hardest yet happiest month. This is because I have to face the grueling graduate school exams, but once I get through them, I'll step into an endlessly long summer vacation. This break will have no homework, no obligations, no pressure, and most importantly, no more Spartan-style training sessions. To make up for the wonderful time missed during last summer, Mia Thompson and I took on a part-time job over these 2 months, working as product promoters in a supermarket. Although we're exhausted every day, we can enjoy sampling all the free food in the supermarket while working until we're full. The relationship between Mia Thompson and Oscar is progressing smoothly. Occasionally, Oscar comes to pick Mia up after her shift, and the two of them have dinner together, enjoying romantic evenings. On their days off, they're just like any other couple, going on dates and having fun. As for me, I felt exactly like a girlfriend who had been abandoned. Tyler left early and came home late every day, we barely saw each other even once throughout the week. While he was working, he couldn't bring his phone with him, so I didn't even have the chance to talk to him. Not long after the exam results were announced, the university acceptance letter arrived. In that historic moment, I truly wanted to use a satellite to broadcast to the entire world that I had passed. I got accepted into Casbia Academy of Arts. The surprising thing was, the first person to come and congratulate me was Nicotine. The congratulations were secondary, his main purpose was still the same as before. He hoped I would join the fashion design department of Supreme Vogue, even if it was just as a part-time worker or assistant, until I graduated, at which point I could consider signing a contract with them. With such great terms, of course, I immediately agreed. In this happiest moment, naturally, I wanted to share it with the person I cherished most. But this week, Tyler had to go on an outdoor shoot, apparently photographing fashion pieces for export, and the location was somewhere in a faraway land. Whether or not we were in different time zones, the only time I could contact Tyler was at night. Tonight, past 11 o'clock, unable to contain my excitement, I picked up my phone and called Tyler's mobile number. 08, an unexpected surprise. Daisy, do you need something from me? Tyler asked, sounding a bit impatient as soon as the call connected. Tyler. What are you doing? Do you miss me? I held the phone tightly, my palms starting to sweat. Hearing Tyler's voice after so long made me unexpectedly nervous. I'm busy right now. If there's nothing important, I'll hang up. Wait. I quickly stopped him. I got the acceptance letter from Caspia Academy of Arts. Tyler. I finally made it. You worked so hard for this, it's only natural you succeeded. But congratulations anyway. Tyler's tone was calm, like a still lake. Goodbye. Beep, the long tone from the phone echoed. It was just an ordinary sound, but at that moment, it felt like the flat line of a heart monitor in a hospital, announcing the failure of a critical surgery. It took me a long while before I hung up. What could Tyler be so busy with this late at night? There were so many things I wanted to say to him, but he didn't even spare a moment to properly say goodbye to me. Could it be, as Oscar had suggested, that Tyler had grown tired of being around me? Before the start of my term at Caspia Academy of Arts, Leo Carter and Nicotine threw me a grand and elegant farewell party. The event was held at an extremely luxurious hotel, with a large number of attendees, including classmates and all the members of the design team from the school club. Tomorrow, everyone would go their separate ways, so this was the perfect opportunity to gather and celebrate one last time. Why was he the only one who didn't come? I wished so badly for Tyler to be by my side. I even selfishly hoped he would quit being a model. Ah! How could I have such selfish thoughts? Everyone has the right to pursue what they love. They say alcohol can chase away sorrow and help people forget their troubles. I picked up a glass of red wine, swirling it lightly in my hand, debating whether to drink it or not, when suddenly someone snatched it away. That was someone much taller than me. When I looked up, a face so stunning that it could captivate an entire crowd appeared before my eyes. Tyler. I excitedly called out. Why are you here? Weren't you supposed to be somewhere else? Tyler downed a glass of red wine I had just picked up. Just got back. Tyler glanced over at Nicotine. Besides, I said I wanted to give you a surprise. Noticing Tyler, Nicotine immediately shifted positions and walked over to us. Showing up this early ruins the fun. Nicotine playfully draped an arm around Tyler but still scolded him. I was planning to have you as the grand finale, bringing Daisy blindfolded to you. That would have been a real surprise. Who told you not to keep an eye on her? Tyler raised the wine glass in his hand, hinting that if he hadn't shown up, I might have finished that drink. If that had happened, forget surprises or finales, there might have been a hospital visit instead of a celebration. How is that my fault? Take care of your own girlfriend. Nicotine shook his head, dodging responsibility before turning around and walking away. At this moment, Tyler's hands rested on my shoulders, his gaze fixed intently on me, as if his soul had finally returned to his body. Standing before me was not just a figure, but a whole person. Daisy, I'm back. Welcome back. My face lit up with a radiant smile, one that perhaps only Tyler could see. And only when I saw Tyler did I truly feel joy from the depths of my heart. 09, lost luggage the next day. Today is the opening day of Caspia Academy of Arts. Last night, I carefully packed my luggage so I could take it right away this morning. Dad drove me to school, and Mom and Tyler came along as well. When we arrived at the school and opened the trunk of Dad's car, I discovered it was completely empty. Before getting in the car, I was sure I had stuffed the trunk full of luggage. It contained my clothes, accessories, personal items, and bedding, but now there was nothing left, not even a scrap of paper. Dad! I immediately suspected him as the first culprit. This is his car, so he must have thrown my things out while I was having breakfast. Weren't there 4 big bags in there? Dad's reaction was even more surprised than mine. He even stuck his head into the trunk, putting on an innocent look as he said, I only took 2 bags of personal items and bedding. Why would you do that? Then where are my things? I angrily questioned him. Dad, I don't want you to leave me. At this moment, Dad was even pretending to look pitiful. Normally, he wouldn't come home even once a month, and I was just changing my place of residence. Essentially, Nothing was different from before. Mom definitely wouldn't do something so childish, so next, all of us started suspecting Tyler. Alright, I admit it. I hid your stuff, but I'll give it back to you right now, Tyler said casually. I was about to lose my mind because of him and Dad. Fine. First, I'll go complete the enrollment procedures, and then I'll deal with them when I get back to the dorm later. I wonder what my roommates will be like. Since I'm majoring in fashion design, they're probably similar to me, people who share the same passion and aim to become fashion designers. The Academy of Arts is entirely different from regular universities. I feel like every corner of the Academy of Arts is brimming with beauty, and every student possesses artistic talent. Students from different majors can be easily identified at a glance. Those carrying cameras are photography students, those with drawing boards are fine art students, and anyone dressed in uniquely creative outfits is definitely a fashion design student. As I strolled through the campus, admiring the scenery along the way, I was suddenly jolted back to reality by the cheers of female students on both sides of the path. Wow! That guy is so handsome. He must be a first-year student. Which major is he in? Let's recruit him for our club. He's here to register for the fashion design program. No wonder he has such a unique aura, he's a designer. Tra, mi tre kong lin quan den tuoi tak. En hung dang teak, Tyler kong hung Thursday. Toi dua tai lu cho chi qua tren fu trek dang ky nap hok, chi I lam zong Thursday tuc nap hok cho toi va con dua cho toi mot tap thong tin v hok vien kung dan ba lin lak. Cho m hoi, ko tien boi now dan m den ky tuc xa kong a. Chi I tam chi kong dua chia qua ky tuc xa cho toi, chi noi rang Thursday tuc de hon tat. En hung toi thay kak tan sin vien kok du nan doak chia qua ky tuc xa ma. M chua lam don xin o ky tuc xa, sao kai hon tat Thursday tuc nap hok, gay my den du lu kai jong dung geo la doak. Chi I noi toi chua lam don xin o ky tuc xa. Lam sa ko the chu. Ro rong toi de dien don xin o ky tuc xa roima. Toi de dien zong va gui di kung luk nan doak jiai bao trung tuen koma. Chik chan la chi qua tren nai by kan ti nen nin kong aro, vei nen toi yu ka chi I kin tra lai emotilan nua. Sao kai kin tra ky luong dan sach dang ky tuc xa, chi I emotilan nua kang din rang toi tuk su chua dang ky. Lai la tiro dua qua ai day. Toi dung on mat sak ban chua tung ko quet qua ba nan vat dang ngo truok mat. Mi toi nin toi voi vi mat de ly lu, ko the lo I tru ba dao tien, ba toi voi vang lak dao, tam doi kung lo I truong I, con gi fam koi kung chin la Thursday fam tuk su, live and mi nam te toi roi koi noi bao dan nu kong ko chien gi zara 10. Making decisions independently, the dorm room has been prepared for you, follow me. Tyler, with a mysterious expression, spun 180 degrees and strode ahead. My dorm room? But didn't the senior just say I hadn't completed the dorm registration process? I turned to look at my parents with a puzzled expression, but they could only shake their heads helplessly. If even my parents don't know about this, then it must have been Tyler's decision. Dad's car stopped at the academy, and we walked with Tyler for about 15 minutes until we reached an apartment complex near the school. It was an ordinary 5-story building, and most of the residents appeared to be young people, likely students from nearby schools. Tyler swiftly climbed to the 3rd floor, walked to the end of the hallway, and unlocked the door to the room. My parents and I stood there, mouths agape, witnessing this magical moment. This is a small apartment consisting of 2 bedrooms, a living room, a kitchen, and a bathroom. Who would have thought that in this old building, there would be such a brand new apartment? The walls and decorations are primarily pink, which happens to be my favorite color. Tyler, don't tell me this is your doing. My dad asked Tyler, glaring at him suspiciously. The dormitory is so annoying. Tyler complained non-stop. No boys allowed, there's a curfew, you have to follow a fixed schedule, and there are no electrical appliances allowed. It's great that Tyler has thought this through so carefully, but I'm the one living here, not him. Why does he have so many complaints? Actually, I think it's fine. You just need to get used to it. There's no need to move out. Besides, it's such a waste for me to stay alone in such a big place. I live alone, and I really don't need a space this large. Moreover, this place has everything ready, and it even seems newly renovated. The rent must be expensive. Do you think I'd let you live alone? Tyler opened the doors to the 2 rooms, both of which had beds inside. In other words, I wouldn't be living alone. He then added, before you graduate, this place will be our home. What does he mean by our home? Surely, he's just referring to him and me, right? But, did Tyler forget that my parents are here right now? Isn't this a bit too bold? They definitely won't agree. The little brat, already thinking about settling down so soon. Do you even remember your father? My dad angrily tightened his grip around Tyler's neck, but his expression showed no trace of actual anger. On the contrary, he seemed genuinely delighted. Did you rob a bank? Where did you get so much money? I worked really hard over the past few months to earn it. Tyler answered honestly. What? So all this time, Tyler had been working tirelessly to prepare for our home. Oh my gosh, I'm so touched. It turns out he doesn't hate me at all. But what about his school? It's a 2-hour commute from here to Endeavor Academy. I even bought a new electric scooter, so I can take Daisy to work and school every day. Tyler dangled the keys in front of me, the cheerful jingling sound filling the air. Tyler, so that call from G University earlier, was it real? My mom, who had been quietly baffled this whole time, hesitantly asked him. They said you applied for a transfer and even scored the highest marks in the entrance exam. G University. The G University mom mentioned, isn't that the school I dreamed about attending 3 years ago? Tyler had always refused to study there before. So why is he suddenly transferring now? Ha! Tyler laughed smugly. I was planning to wait until the semester started to tell everyone. Since that school is closer to Caspia Academy of Arts, and to Daisy, it'll be much more convenient to commute. This clearly isn't just about convenience. Tyler's actions are way over the top. Renting a house is one thing, but he also had the money to buy an electric scooter. Transferring schools is fine, but it's G University of all places. Why is it that everything I once thought was far out of reach comes so easily to him? This must be a power no ordinary person could possibly possess. Chapter 13, Just One Step Between Dreams and Reality. 01, Start living together. My parents, whether out of excitement or panic, surprisingly agreed to let Tyler and me live together. Yes, live together. Although we're siblings, or perhaps related in some distant way, living together as a man and a woman still counts as cohabitation. Wait a second. I need to calm down. Tyler isn't the type to do anything inappropriate, and honestly, I trust him completely. Everyone who knows us says that if Tyler and I were to live together, he'd be the one in danger, not me. The next day. The following day, Tyler rode his newly purchased scooter to drop me off at the school gate before heading off to G University. Watching Tyler's dashing figure as he left, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. He looked exceptionally handsome today. The G University uniform looked at least 100 times better than the Endeavor Academy uniform, especially on Tyler, who makes anything he wears look amazing. On top of that, he's a transfer student riding a scooter to class. He's definitely going to cause a stir. Didn't he create a similar sensation exactly a year ago? Feeling uneasy, I decided to head toward G University. I hid behind a tree outside the university, trying to stay out of sight. Tyler must already be in class by now, right? Should I sneak in? But I don't even know which class he's in. Besides, I'm wearing casual clothes, so there's no way I'd blend in. Thud. Thud. Something seemed to fall on my shoulder, probably just leaves, so I ignored it. Thud. Thud. Why do these leaves feel so heavy all of a sudden? I quickly turned around, only to see a burly man patting my shoulder. The man had a large build, suntanned skin, and looked to be nearly 30. He was staring at me with a fierce expression. You must be the legendary pervert lurking around here, right? Too bad for you, you've been caught by me, the most handsome teacher and top assassin of G University, the rough-looking man declared. He grabbed my collar, lifting me up as if I were some small animal, and marched straight toward the school gate. First, we'll have tea with the principal, and then it's off to the police station for lunch. I was mistaken for a pervert. Spying on him again. Even if my eyes were on the back of my head, I still look like an innocent schoolgirl. Wait a minute. If he drags me into G University like this, wouldn't I lose all the dignity I've built over the past 20 years? Handsome teacher, please listen to me. I'm not a peeping Tom. Though I despise pretending to be pitiful, this time I had no choice but to play the role. If you're not a peeping Tom, then what were you sneaking around behind the tree for? He put me down, giving me a chance to explain. Tyler was right, before lying, you should think carefully about your explanation. But my brain was in chaos, and I couldn't collect my thoughts. I know, you must be the new intern teacher, right? I was wrong. This terrifying man didn't even give me a chance to explain. It was like he was performing a monologue, questioning and answering himself non-stop. I heard there's a very timid intern teacher this semester. I didn't expect you to be so shy that you wouldn't even dare come into the school. Don't worry, our school is very safe. I'll take you to the staff office. My surname is Owens, first name Kevin. You can call me Mr. Owens or Kevin. But I'd prefer it if you just called me Kevin directly. Leo Carter, congratulations. I've finally found someone with a name even more thunderous than yours. This rude man's name is Kevin Owens. Of all the names, why Kevin Owens? More importantly, he even wants me to call him Kevin directly. I genuinely feel sorry for his colleagues, calling his name every day must feel like committing some moral transgression. 02, sneaking into G University. This teacher, Kevin Owens, is smug, arrogant, reckless, inflexible, and severely lacking in analytical skills. His only redeeming quality is his overly enthusiastic personality. While leading me to the office, he wouldn't stop talking about the school's facilities. So, I quietly slipped away behind him without him noticing at all. If not now, then when? If I really followed him to the office, wouldn't it be akin to admitting that I'm a stalker? Although I've successfully snuck into G University, how will I find Tyler? His behavior always makes him hard to predict. Could he be obediently sitting in class or perhaps lazing around on the school rooftop? I'm dressed casually, so if I walk into the teaching building, I'll easily attract attention. Anyone can tell I'm not a teacher. Thus, I can only wander aimlessly around the campus. Look! Look! Isn't that the famous, handsome supermodel, Tyler, standing with her? Wow! He's 1,000 times more stunning in real life than in the magazines. They're from the same agency, right? So jealous, I want to be a model too. As I roamed around, I noticed a group of 3 to 5 female students gathering, hiding behind a large tree, and chatting excitedly. No wonder that rude guy thought I was a stalker. It turns out this school has even more stalkers than I imagined. Following their gazes, I was shocked to discover that their target was none other than the person I was looking for. Moreover, standing next to Tyler was Sophia Lane. Oh, right. I almost forgot that Sophia Lane is a student at G University. Doesn't that mean she'll get to see Tyler every day from now on? At this moment, Sophia Lane and Tyler were standing by the campus fountain, seemingly having a pleasant conversation. The atmosphere between them appeared very harmonious. But because the distance was too far, I couldn't hear a word of their conversation. Hey! Which class are you in? Eavesdropping on others' conversations is so rude, and you're not even wearing the school uniform. You're definitely not from our school. Among the group, there was a girl who seemed to dislike me and deliberately picked a fight. Aren't you all just as rude, doing the same thing as me? But since they outnumbered me and this was their turf, it was best for me to retreat for my own safety. Trying to run away, huh? Catch her. At the girl's command, the group of female students actually started chasing me. Oh no! This can't be happening. If they caught me, it would surely be worse than being dragged into the principal's office by the disciplinary officer. But I didn't know anyone at G University, and the school gate was locked. Where could I possibly hide? For the first time in my life, I felt like a headless chicken, running aimlessly with all my might, taking any path I saw, dodging people, turning at every corner. Bang! Not every turn is safe to take, apparently. As I sped around a corner, I collided head-on with someone else, and we both tumbled to the ground. Ouch! That hurts so much. Is the ground at G University made of diamonds or something? I could even swear I heard the sound of bones cracking. Sorry, are you okay? The boy I accidentally knocked over not only didn't blame me but also seemed worried about me. While I was feeling both puzzled and a bit excited about this encounter, he suddenly exclaimed in surprise, Daisy Bloom. The only person who would call me that could only be him. At that moment, I snapped out of the pain, and standing before me was Leo Carter in the uniform of G University. 03, the kiss in the closed room, Leo Carter. Why are you here? How could I stay put without Tyler? So, I transferred here. It's truly enviable how he can say such embarrassing things so naturally. And you, why are you here? Let's not talk about this now, please help me, I'm being chased. Though it sounds slow, everything happened very quickly at that moment. A group of overly enthusiastic girls had already caught up. I immediately hid behind Leo Carter, treating him as my shield. What are you all doing? Leo Carter spread his arms wide, shielding me behind him. For the first time, I realized Leo Carter also had a very manly side. Young Master Leo Carter, we want to hand over this girl of unknown background to the security office, said a leading girl, rolling up her sleeves and pointing strongly at me. Leave this girl to me, you all go back to class. Isn't today Leo Carter's first day transferring? Why is everyone listening to him, not saying a word, and obediently returning to their classes? Could it be that he bought this school? If not, then his family must have donated a large sum of money. All right. Now that everything is fine, can Daisy Bloom tell me why you're here? Once certain it was safe, Leo Carter turned back to continue questioning. Tyler doesn't know about this, please keep it a secret for me. I placed my index finger on my lips, signaling him not to spill the beans. In truth, I didn't even know why I showed up here. Thinking back now, it seems completely irrational. What good would it do to meet Tyler? He goes to school every day, what, am I supposed to attach a tracking device to him or something? Just as I decided not to explain anything to Leo Carter and was about to leave G University immediately, I turned around and saw Tyler walking toward us. Oh no! Under no circumstances can Tyler discover me, especially since he's with Sophia. I grabbed Leo Carter again, intending to seek his help. But before I could say anything, Leo Carter had already caught on. He pulled me with one hand and opened a door behind us with the other. It seemed to be a storage room or archive, completely pitch black inside. The curtains covered the windows tightly, with only faint slivers of light seeping through. Thump. 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 The atmosphere in here felt strange. What was that sound? Was it my heartbeat? Even though I was nervous, my heart couldn't possibly be racing this fast. Pressing my ear against Leo Carter's chest, I realized the sound was coming from his heartbeat. Was there something wrong with Leo Carter's heart? Why was it beating so rapidly? Just as I was about to look up and ask, his lips brushed against mine. Was it because of our height difference, or did he intentionally create this angle? This was the second time I ended up kissing him. Behind me was the wall, leaving me with no way out, so I could only crouch down to avoid making direct eye contact with Leo Carter. He didn't step back, nor did he appear embarrassed, and moreover, he didn't apologize to me. Earlier, when we accidentally bumped into each other, he apologized, which means, this kiss wasn't an accident, was it? You still seem to have feelings for Daisy. Leo Carter hesitated, then crouched down beside me. Why, couldn't Daisy's younger brother be Leo Carter? Why are you asking me why? If I knew, I wouldn't be Daisy, no. Daisy Bloom. Leo Carter's actions nearly made me forget my own name. I pushed Leo Carter away with all my strength, and he plopped down onto the ground. Seizing the opportunity, I immediately dashed outside. G University truly is a dangerous place, seemingly filled with risks at every corner. Letting Tyler come here, was that really a good idea? About Leo Carter, did I overreact? He's helped me twice in a row, yet I pushed him away like that. But who told him to do something like that to me? Even if he wanted to repay me, this isn't the way to do it. That's right. I didn't do anything wrong, so there's no need to feel guilty. 04, between leisure and busyness. Caspia Academy of Arts is truly a wonderful place. I can skip school all morning, and no one would even ask about it. The only downside is that most of my classmates have already formed their own groups, while I don't have a single friend in class. Suddenly, I miss Mia Thompson so much. Mia and I had been in the same class since 6th grade. When we graduated high school, our goal was G University, but unfortunately, we both didn't make it. However, ending up at Endeavor Academy wasn't so bad, at least we had 3 joyful years there. Most importantly, there was Sean. He was the most beautiful memory of my college years. Graduate courses aren't overly demanding, but the assignments are overwhelming. Every day, each subject assigns different tasks. Some say that the design major is the one with the most tasks, the highest costs, and the most time-consuming workload. An essay, a hand-drawn design sketch, a color palette, a fabric collage, and a trend analysis chart. Why are there even more assignments than in 12th grade? Most importantly, design assignments can't be copied, unlike literature, English, or math, where you can simply glance at someone else's answers and be done with it. After class, I carried a thick stack of books and walked wearily out of the academy gates. At that moment, Tyler was already waiting with his small motorcycle. Why does he seem so unbothered? The level at G University is far higher than that of Endeavor Academy. Even if Tyler used to be at the top of Endeavor Academy, at G University, at best, he'd only be considered average. Tyler, have you gotten used to the challenging environment at G University yet? I've only been here for half a day, and I'm already exhausted. Surely, Tyler's experience here isn't easy either. Challenging environment? He tilted his head, looking a bit curious but didn't press further. It's fine. There are quite a few familiar faces on campus. Quite a few familiar faces. This means Tyler won't feel lonely at G University. There must be plenty of his old classmates here, but why does it feel like I'm the only one forgotten by the gods? The gods arranged friends for everyone else but somehow skipped over me. Tyler took me to Supreme Vogue and then went off to work. He said he would pick me up after my shift, but since our schedules aren't fixed and the route isn't convenient, I firmly insisted on getting home by myself. On my first day at Supreme Vogue, I could hardly focus on work, Instead, I was completely engrossed in finishing the assignment given to me today. Nicotine idly stood by, watching me work, occasionally commenting on how I arranged the layout. It seems he really has plenty of free time. If he's this unoccupied, why did he even want me to join? The spring collection appears to have already been completed, and there's still some time before its launch. The summer designs are relatively simple, so there's no rush either. Let's grab dinner after work, Nicotine said, sitting across from me with his chin resting on his hands. You're getting older, you should find a girlfriend and start planning for the future. If he had a girlfriend, maybe he wouldn't bother me so much. I'm not interested in anything other than fashion design, Nicotine replied seriously, then added teasingly, why? Are you suggesting I choose you as my girlfriend? Not funny at all. I glared at him before lowering my head to continue working on my assignment. Looking at you makes me hungry, let's go, we're going to eat at a buffet. Nicotine suddenly said, pulling me up. If you want to eat, go by yourself. I still have a pile of homework here. Knowing full well that I'm insanely busy, how could I have time to go eat at a buffet with him? Daisy Bloom. This is work hours, and I, as the general manager, order you not to handle personal matters during work hours. Nicotine immediately changed his tone, seriously commanding. 05, the childish uncle. This man is so unreasonable. He even uses his position as a superior to boss me around. Fine, I'll tolerate him. After all, I'm someone who knows how to separate personal matters from professional ones. Director, what exactly is my task? I asked, pretending to be respectful. It's to join me for a buffet. Nicotine enthusiastically grabbed my hand. Come on. Let's go. I've never felt my appetite was this good before. I broke into a sweat. Speechless. He's clearly 10 years older than Leo Carter, yet his childishness is no less than Leo's. Under Nicotine's coercion and persuasion, I finally resigned myself to joining him in the buffet adventure. Nicotine took me to a very luxurious restaurant. This was my first time visiting such a fancy place for a buffet. Typically, a buffet means eating as much as possible to get your money's worth, but in such an elegant Western restaurant, so quiet you could hear the clinking of knives and forks, eating just didn't feel satisfying for the stomach. Eat more so you can grow taller, Nicotine teased, placing a plate of chicken in front of me. Otherwise, it'll be hard to match Tyler's height. That's none of your concern. I thought to myself. No matter how much I eat until I'm stuffed, I won't grow any taller, I've already passed the age for that. After the summer vacation, I haven't seen that kid. Is he even still alive? Nicotine. Do you want me to drag your corpse out of this fancy Western restaurant or what? He dared to curse Tyler in front of me, this time, he's done for. Ha ha ha. Just kidding. Don't take it so seriously. Nicotine laughed smugly and innocently. We stayed until the buffet ended before slowly leaving the restaurant. Nicotine truly is like an oversized kid. Being around him, I often forget his status. And our age gap, allowing myself to laugh freely and wholeheartedly. I followed Nicotine. Just as we stepped out of the restaurant, he suddenly stopped. I didn't react in time and bumped straight into him. Let's go back and sit down. I don't think I'm full yet. Nicotine quickly turned around, even trying to push me back into the restaurant. He had already eaten a lot, no matter how much he craved food, there's no way he could eat any more. His reaction felt like he was trying to tell me there was something outside he didn't want me to see. If that were the case, the things I initially didn't care about suddenly piqued my curiosity tenfold. I swiftly dodged left and right, finally managing to escape Nicotine's grasp and step outside the restaurant. I wasn't angry at Nicotine because, indeed, he shouldn't have let me see the scene unfolding before me. I saw Tyler across the street, riding his small white motorbike with a girl I didn't recognize sitting behind him. Their actions weren't overly intimate, the girl seemed a bit shy, lightly holding onto Tyler's shirt, fortunately, not wrapping her arms around his waist. Both were dressed casually, probably just off work. I'll trust Tyler, even though he once said this little motorbike was bought to take me around, but on its first ride, he's carrying another girl instead of me. Still, I'll trust him. Tyler is so outrageous. My wife's position is still vacant, Daisy. If you're interested, you're always welcome to take the job. Nicotine joked, half serious, half teasing. Nicotine, who had just covered for Tyler a few seconds ago, deliberately mocked him right after, changing his stance faster than the speed of light. Nicotine, I suggest you hurry up and invite me to your wedding before you turn into a balding uncle, I sincerely reminded him, then turned around and left on my own. I want to go home alone, no need to see me off. 06, undercover secret, clearly, you care a lot, so why don't you just say it? Nicotine took a few steps and blocked my way. Daisy, you can tell me anything. Keeping it to yourself won't feel good. I truly appreciated Nicotine's concern, but my problem wasn't as serious as he thought. Moreover, Nicotine was known to be quite talkative, I doubted anyone would want to share their secrets with him. In the end, I decided to go home alone. Firstly, I wanted some peace and quiet, and secondly, I didn't want Nicotine to know I was living with Tyler. By the time I got home, it was already late, but Tyler came back even later. I had already fallen asleep when the sound of the door closing woke me up. The next day, Tyler didn't mention the girl who had been with him the night before, and I didn't ask. Once you've chosen to trust someone, you have to trust them unconditionally. Over the following week, aside from focusing on completing my assignments, I reported to Supreme Vogue daily. Recently, Supreme Vogue seemed to be facing a rather tricky challenge. Nicotine mentioned a fashion company called Chow Pai. Their products closely resembled Supreme Vogue's designs, with nearly identical fabric quality, but their prices were 30% lower. Many of Supreme Vogue's loyal customers had been lured away. The competitors' actions were discreet, seemingly aiming to gradually take over Supreme Vogue. This issue wasn't a recent discovery, it turned out Nicotine had been under immense pressure for some time. That day, he casually invited me to a buffet, perhaps just to relax. From any perspective, Nicotine didn't seem like someone who avoided his responsibilities. In him, I saw the image of a hopeful, idealistic, and dedicated designer. We must design a model that no one can replicate. In the emergency meeting, Nicotine proposed this key project. The fabric material must be our exclusive formula, and the cost needs to be reduced by 20%. We have to create a massive whirlwind that completely blows away Tide faction. Forget whether we can even complete the design, just reducing costs by 20% already leaves no profit. This storm isn't certain, it might end up wiping us out entirely, an older designer expressed his concerns during the meeting. It's a whirlwind. Not a tropical storm. Did you even listen to me seriously? Nicotine retorted angrily, though that wasn't the main point. We absolutely must secure a decisive victory before their brand gains prominence, or else we truly will face complete annihilation. Nicotine once again reaffirmed his stance, and this time, no one opposed him. Everyone agreed with his perspective because we had no other way out. Business is like a battlefield. On the battlefield, there are no friendly wars, either you die, or I survive. For this battle, I will allocate manpower to the respective departments. If no one has any objections, we'll begin today. Although no one dared to deny Nicotine's strategy, was he being too hasty? Shouldn't we thoroughly investigate the opponent's strength before devising a plan? Even though I was the youngest and least experienced member of the team, without enough qualifications to voice an opinion, I still mustered all my courage to speak for the collective good. Director, I think we should first analyze the global situation this summer and the trends in fashion styles before concentrating our forces for a counterattack. Rest assured, I've already planted an insider there, Nicotine confidently declared once again. An insider? Really? So he had already made his move. No wonder he was so determined to proceed with this battle. But who was the person Nicotine sent as the insider? Was this individual truly trustworthy? Hopefully, they wouldn't end up as a sacrificial pawn. 07, the disappearing exercise last week, the assignments I submitted along with everyone else had been graded, but mine was nowhere to be found. So, I approached the teacher in charge to inquire, only to be questioned about not submitting my assignment. How could that be? I clearly submitted it with everyone else, so why didn't my work reach the teacher? Not just for one subject, every teacher claimed I hadn't submitted my assignments. Could it be that only my assignments grew legs and ran off? Poor me, completely innocent, yet I ended up being punished and forced to redo all the work. Sigh. I was already busy enough, and now I had to redo the assignments I worked so hard on for a week, costing me another week. Meanwhile, the company's cyclone battle was in full swing, and if I didn't participate, everyone would surely see me as a traitor. During the day, I had to attend classes. During breaks, I juggled work and squeezed in time to redo the assignments. But the new week's assignments kept piling up. It seemed as though teachers here got bonuses for assigning more work, with everyone competing to hand out mountains of tasks. One day, Nicotine seemed to notice how exhausted I was. He kindly reminded me not to overwork myself in my enthusiasm for my job. Feeling guilty, I explained to him that my fatigue wasn't due to work, because, truthfully, I loved my job. Then, I shared with Nicotine what had been happening at school. Even though I knew he was already busy, his warmth felt like a father's care, prompting me to open up about my frustrations. Nicotine analyzed the situation, concluding that there must be something suspicious going on. Assignments couldn't just vanish into thin air. Perhaps someone was jealous of my designs, or maybe a secret admirer had taken my work. The more I listened to Nicotine's analysis, the more terrified I became. This was entirely the behavior of a deranged individual. Regardless of their motive, stealing like this was abnormal. Initially, I didn't want to make a big deal out of it. Redoing the assignments was manageable, even if it meant a week of sleepless nights. But Nicotine was determined to uncover the truth. He pointed out that the staff office surely had surveillance cameras, and by reviewing footage from the days I submitted my work, the culprit would be exposed. Using his close relationship with the president of Caspia Academy of Arts, Nicotine easily obtained approval. We entered the security room to review the week's footage and finally spotted a suspicious figure. No, not just suspicious, this person was undoubtedly the culprit. The timestamp on the screen read 4:30 p.m. Teachers in the office were gradually finishing up and leaving. The only person left sitting in the corner of the room, a female teacher, waited until everyone was gone before stealthily taking something from other teachers' desks. She didn't just take items from one desk but moved around, stealing from multiple spots. This person. I feel like I've met them somewhere before. Nicotine pondered with an uneasy expression. Based on where she was originally sitting, she must be the teacher for our fashion concepts class. What was her name again? Her name is a bit hard to remember, something like Ka. Something. I can't recall. At this point, it's best to call the class president, since he's basically our contact directory. In our class, or even throughout the school, nearly everyone's contact information is in his hands. Because university students often act independently, having a complete communication system is essential for gathering everyone in time. Hello, is this the class president? This is Daisy Bloom. I wanted to ask, what's the name of the teacher for the Fashion Concepts course? Daisy Bloom. Do you even have the nerve to ask such a silly question? While you may excel at your work with supreme vogue, you should still keep in mind your role as a student. What did I do that wasn't in line with being a student? I'm also trying to uncover the truth about the missing assignment this time. Does the class president really need to get so worked up? Ms. Lydia Brooks is the youngest and most beautiful teacher among all those teaching us, and you. Not waiting for him to finish his sentence, I hung up immediately upon getting the answer. 08. The mystery of the theft. Her name is Lydia Brooks. I immediately told Nicotine, hoping this information could be of some help to him. Why is it her? Nicotine's shocked reaction upon hearing the name was entirely beyond my expectations. He quickly added, Daisy, don't you remember? She's the champion of the fashion design competition. She's also the one who collaborated with Wang Fu to plagiarize your designs, Wang Fu's girlfriend, Lydia Brooks. No wonder Nicotine's reaction was so intense. Thinking back on it, I wasn't any calmer than he was. It turns out that our fashion concepts instructor is none other than Wang Fu's girlfriend. She won the fashion design competition, so why is she still secretly sabotaging me? I haven't even sought revenge on them yet. Daisy, do you have any guesses? Is it revenge? Because Wang Fu was dismissed by Supreme Vogue and blacklisted in the fashion industry. They must be ready to come after me for revenge, right? What you're thinking is just a small part of it, but not the whole picture, Nicotine explained seriously, as if he knew much more about the situation. The one who ordered Wang Fu's blacklisting was Supreme Vogue, not you, Daisy. So, if they wanted revenge, they would target Supreme Vogue directly. I've heard that Wang Fu has now joined the faction movement. If I'm not mistaken, Lydia Brooks stole your assignment to seek inspiration for Supreme Vogue's future design directions. Nicotine's analysis left me in awe. With just one small clue, he was able to deduce the entire situation with such clarity and precision. I think it's necessary to let the school handle this matter. Even if they can't pass judgment on her, at the very least, they can expose her disgraceful behavior publicly. However, my suggestion was rejected by Nicotine. Taking such an approach wouldn't help the case, instead, it would alert the enemy, making them more cautious of our actions. He wasn't wrong. One side operates in the light, the other in the shadows, the one in the light is bound to suffer losses. We have to be like them, taking the underground route, observing the situation while carrying out special operations. After the case of the missing assignments was resolved, my homework was no longer a burden. Anyway, no matter how well I did, I'd still become a target for troublemakers. So why not do it sloppily? Maybe it would even drive Lydia Brooks crazy. Two birds with one stone. The Trend faction recruited someone blacklisted by the design community, clearly going head-to-head with Supreme Vogue. The enemy's forces seem to be growing stronger, we must bolster our defenses as well. Such lovely weather today, Daisy. Show me around your academy. A casual remark from Nicotine immediately broke the tense and silent atmosphere. This is a critical time, and you're in the mood for a stroll. I shouted at him angrily. Daisy, if you don't control your emotions, you'll easily turn into a wrinkled old maid, he said, completely ignoring my warning as he turned and quickly left the office. Fine. Even if I tied him up, he wouldn't obediently stay and work. Let him do whatever he wants. After all, Supreme Vogue's survival now rests entirely in Nicotine's hands. Speaking of Supreme Vogue, I wonder how Leo Carter has been lately. Ever since the semester started at G University, I haven't seen him. He hasn't shown up at the company, or maybe he did, and I just didn't notice. Tyler hasn't mentioned anything about him either. Just as I was about to ask Nicotine for news about Leo Carter, he quickly asked me something first. 09, Origin of Ideals. Daisy, why do you want to become a fashion designer? Nicotine's question was even harder than solving a complex mathematical equation. Asking why I want to become a designer is like asking why people need to eat rice every day. It's such an obvious thing, yet I've never thought about the answer. So, what about you, Nicotine? Why did you want to become a designer? I turned the question back to him. Of course, because I love fashion design, he replied decisively. I started loving fashion design in high school. After graduating, I went to France to study fashion design. Besides France, I've traveled to many other countries, but only recently decided to develop my career back home. Why do you love fashion design? Did you experience some unforgettable memory? I pressed on, curious. Ha! Could it be a romantic and deeply emotional story? No wonder he's still single, it must be tied to a girl he can't forget. Sorry to disappoint you, but you're overthinking it. Nicotine gently tapped my head. I just feel that clothes don't only reflect a person's traits, personality, and preferences but can also express their very soul. His words were profound. Did he come up with this himself? Or did he borrow the philosophy of some other fashion designer? But I know this much, Nicotine is a dedicated designer. Even if someone paid him, he would never copy someone else's ideas. To be honest, I never really thought about why I wanted to become a fashion designer. But I feel an intense connection to colors, lines, and shapes, as if they have a life of their own, constantly sparking my inspiration. Even before I knew this profession was called fashion design, I already loved it. Daisy. You're amazing. Surely God has assigned you the mission of becoming a designer. Nicotine exclaimed, gripping my hand with excitement, as if he had just won the lottery. I knew I wasn't wrong about you. Fantastic. With you by my side in the fight, even if I die, I'll die gloriously. Isn't he overpraising me a bit? I'm just a simple student who loves fashion design. Besides, we're only comparing commercial competition to a battle, it's not like we're actually going to war. Why bring up life and death? When my fighting spirit ignites, I get extremely hungry. Let's go, we're having barbecue. Before I could respond, Nicotine grabbed my hand and dragged me along with great force. Fighting spirit ignited? I think his spirit has already burned to ashes. Isn't time supposed to be tight right now? Yet he still has time to wander around campus and eat barbecue. If you want to eat, go by yourself. I still have a pile of assignments to finish. I shook off Nicotine's hand. Even though I could rush through the assignments, they still needed to be done. Besides, I'm in no mood to eat barbecue with him right now. Do assignments without eating? Last time I treated you to a buffet, this time it's your turn to treat me, isn't it? I gritted my teeth, wanting to punch him in the face. Did I ask him to treat me last time? And this time, he's forcing me again. It's not that I'm stingy about spending money on food, but his way of deciding everything on his own really drives me crazy. If it weren't for the respect I have for elders, I would have sent him to a nursing home ages ago. 10. The Colors of Dreams. Nicotine took me to places with an incredibly elegant style, perhaps to show off his status. This time, we went to a restaurant I had never been to before, but Nicotine seemed like a regular there. The staff immediately recognized him and politely guided us to our seats. The events of today were already enough for me to process for a week, but the surprises didn't stop there. Instead of just leading us to an empty table, the staff brought us right next to Tyler. At that moment, both Nicotine, Tyler, and I were stunned for a brief second. It seemed none of us expected to meet each other here. Because Tyler wasn't dining alone, sitting across from him was a girl around his age, probably younger than me. If I remember correctly, this girl was the one Tyler gave a ride to on his small motorbike on the first day of school. None of us initiated any greetings, and the atmosphere turned incredibly awkward, completely unlike how we would usually greet each other. Tyler wasn't meeting this girl for the first time, judging by the situation, it clearly wasn't work-related. Yet, he had never mentioned this girl to me before, and at this moment, his face displayed clear confusion and surprise. Let's go somewhere else. Nicotine probably thought I would feel uncomfortable, so he deliberately suggested, suddenly, I don't feel like barbecue anymore. Let's go have pizza. No. I immediately refused and plopped down at the table right next to them. We didn't do anything wrong, so why should we avoid them? If anyone should leave, it's them. Moreover, judging by the state of their table, it seemed like they had already finished their meal and were about to leave. Since I had already sat down, Nicotine had no choice but to follow suit. "Tyler, do you know them?" The girl sitting with Tyler softly asked, but I still heard it. "No. I don't know her." Tyler firmly denied. When my ears received this signal in just 0.0001 seconds, I thought I had misheard. Tyler absolutely couldn't deny it. Even if he couldn't clearly define our relationship, at the very least, he would admit to knowing me, as friends or classmates or something. Yet, without hesitation, he resolutely said he didn't know me. It was unbelievable. Completely unreasonable. Absolutely unimaginable. But if he said he didn't know me, what else could I do? Should I rush over to slap him and loudly declare to everyone that I'm his girlfriend? Even if Tyler no longer liked me, I couldn't let him hate me. I couldn't bring myself to do such a thing. So, I could only pretend not to hear it. Nicotine respected my decision, quietly ordered food, and talked about work. The tense atmosphere lasted for about 10 minutes, and soon after, Tyler left with that girl. At this moment, Nicotine suddenly asked me, "Do you know that girl?" I helplessly shook my head. Right after, he said that he actually knew her from before. He had intended to tell me earlier, but seeing that I didn't seem to care much, and fearing I might overthink, he decided not to. That girl's name is Lolly, also a freshman at G University, a year younger than Tyler. She is the only daughter of the president of Dream Color, DC, a famous domestic fabric company. Just hearing about her family background, it's clear she's no ordinary person. I never thought Tyler would be interested in a girl like that. No. Actually, I was just too caught up in fleeting happiness, thinking that it was only me and Tyler in the world, thinking that I was the only one in Tyler's eyes. This time, I absolutely cannot endure it any longer, I must get a clear answer. Chapter 14, The Confrontation Between Miracles and Fate. Human rocket. The next day. There are no classes today, so I slept in until 10 in the morning. When I woke up, I realized I had somehow ended up back in bed without knowing when. I remembered last night, sitting in the living room waiting for Tyler to return. But even after waiting past midnight, he still didn't show up, and at some point, I must have dozed off. Last night, he had time to go out with that girl, Lolly, so it's clear he wasn't busy with work. But why didn't he come home until late at night? The more I think about it, the sadder I feel. Whether Tyler is cheating or not, hiding so many things from me isn't right. Should I sneak into their school again to figure out what's really going on? But what if I get caught by that ridiculously good-looking professor from G University? Last time, I was lucky it was the start of the semester, and he hadn't seen me before, so I managed to get away with it. If I get caught this time, I'll really look like a stalker. Thinking too much won't help. Anyway, since there are no classes this morning, I might as well try my luck. G University is very close to our apartment, so I arrived quickly. Just as I was about to climb over the wall to enter the school, something suddenly fell from the sky. No. To be more precise, it was a female student from G University, climbing out of the school. She landed squarely on me without missing a beat. Ouch, that hurts so much. This girl must weigh around 45 to 50 kilograms. I feel like all my internal organs have been flattened by her. Damn it. Why is there some annoying guy lying here like this? The girl, sitting on top of me, scolded me before understanding the situation. Her voice sounds oddly familiar. Before I could react, 4 more girls jumped down from the wall one after another. Sophia, are you okay? One of the girls asked the one sitting on top of me. That's right, this person is none other than Sophia Lane. No wonder her voice sounded so familiar. At G University, she's the only girl I know. Since she had been pressing down on me earlier, I couldn't see her face. How can it not hurt? My backside feels like it's about to bloom from the pain. The girls reached out to help Sophia Lane up, and only then did she notice me, the person she had just sat on. Oh my goodness. Why is it you? What are you doing at our school? I just happened to be passing by. This was the only excuse I could come up with since there wasn't a more reasonable one. Sophia, do you know this old lady? One of her friends, who clearly had serious eyesight issues, asked. How could I possibly be an old lady? I'm only 2 years older than them. Judging by appearances, I obviously look younger than they do. This person is one of our accomplices. Sophia Lane inexplicably grouped me in with her, then reached out to pull me up. Come on. Let's go celebrate. Aren't you supposed to be in class right now? Where are you all planning to go? I asked, confused. Even if they were skipping school, these girls were way too blatant about it. They were wearing the uniform of G University, and on top of that, Sophia Lane was a model, making it easy for acquaintances to recognize her. The girls didn't answer my question directly but instead entered a clothing store near the school. The store owner seemed to know them. The 5 of them went into the fitting room, changed into outfits that had been prepared beforehand, and then applied heavy, professional makeup with practiced ease. Sophia Lane even added a hat, and in an instant, the 5 of them transformed like Sailor Moon characters. Incredible. Are these girls really just freshmen? Thinking back, Mia Thompson and I weren't nearly as daring as they are. We only changed out of our uniforms, and we didn't even bother with light makeup. 02, Tim aching like being cut, you girls go play by yourselves, I have something to do and need to leave. I still had a class in the afternoon and no time to join their madness. Stop pretending to be so high and mighty. Do you know how many people want to join our group but aren't qualified? I only let you in because I respect you. Just as I was about to turn and leave, Sophia suddenly grabbed my arm tightly. I don't understand what you're talking about, I said, forcefully shaking her hand off. She kept rambling about collusion. About joining something, what on earth was she implying? Either way, I wasn't interested in their childish games. I had far more important things to do. As I resolutely turned to leave again, Sophia shouted loudly behind me, Tyler and Lila are dating now. The whole school knows about it. So you're just like us, a piece of gum Tyler has already thrown away. Like them? Aside from Sophia, had the other 4 girls also been dumped by Tyler? No. That wasn't the point. The point was, Tyler and Lila were really dating. And the whole school knew about it? No. That couldn't be true. I had always thought it was just a misunderstanding, that I was waiting patiently for Tyler to explain everything clearly. But, if they were already a publicly recognized couple, what was left to explain? Still, I couldn't accept it. I really couldn't accept it. Even if Tyler didn't like me anymore, even if he cheated or wanted to break up, why was I the only one left in the dark? No, wait. If I were the one with someone else, I wouldn't be able to say the words, break up either. We had grown up together, and even now, after moving away from our parents, we still lived together. If we broke up, how would we face each other in the future? That must be why Tyler chose to maintain this relationship rather than letting us become strangers. But Tyler Bloom, do you have any idea how cruel your actions are? Oh, and let me share another piece of good news with you. Sophia Lane, thinking I hadn't suffered enough, added fuel to the fire. Leo Carter already has a girlfriend too. I heard she's the daughter of a big company's CEO, what a perfect match. As for you, someone as lowly as you doesn't even deserve to clean his shoes. No wonder Leo Carter hasn't been around lately, turns out he's been busy dating his girlfriend. Even if he forgets that I'm his friend, I can't blame him. Leo Carter has every right to pursue the love he deserves. Yet somehow, my heart aches so deeply. I should be happy for Leo Carter, shouldn't I? He's always been such a kind person, someone so good-hearted that anyone who knows him can't help but forget their worries. Surely, Aunt Daisy Snow must be blessing him from heaven. What happened today really shocked me. Even though I tried to act calm in front of everyone, a human heart is made of flesh, how could it not hurt? This afternoon, I skipped school, and in the evening, I didn't go to work either. I returned to my apartment, packed up all my belongings, and made a tough decision. If Tyler admits he's dating Lolly, I'll move into the school dormitory. Although I haven't secured a spot in the dorm yet, squeezing into a room with my female classmates shouldn't be an issue. If that doesn't work, I'll move into the staff dormitory at Supreme Vogue. After all, I'm constantly commuting between school and the company, and living there would cut my travel time in half. 03, Love Games tonight. Tyler came home earlier than usual, probably because he didn't have a date with that girl Lila. Meeting every day, just like us, feelings gradually fade with time. I sat in the living room, turned off the TV, and continued pondering the unanswered questions from yesterday. Tyler, about yesterday, don't you have anything you want to explain to me? He didn't answer my question, nor did he look me in the eyes. Silently, he walked around behind me and sat on a different sofa. Daisy, let's take some time apart for now. I knew that when Tyler said this, it must have been very hard for him. But I couldn't understand, what does temporarily and time apart even mean? Does it mean breaking up? But I've never heard of a breakup like this. Do you treat our relationship like some kind of game? Stop when you're bored, continue when you feel like it. Sorry, I can't play this game of emotions, which is why I've never dated anyone else. You're right, we do need some time apart. What I meant by time apart wasn't just breaking up, it was truly taking time apart. After all, once we graduate, we'll still return to the same home, so this time apart won't be long, just enough for me to forget the feelings I have for Tyler. At that moment, I pulled out the suitcase I had already packed from my room. Tyler saw it and quickly tried to explain, what I meant by time apart wasn't for you to move out. You can still stay here. Stay here. How could I possibly stay here? Watching you flirt with other girls late into the night every day, seeing you drive your little car to pick up other girls and parade them in front of me. I didn't voice these reasons because I had to bite my lip hard to keep myself from crying. If you don't want to see me, I'll move out, or I can go back to my original home. Does moving back and forth like this have any meaning? After all, the result is the same. How could I not want to see you? Every day, every hour, every minute, I want to see you. In my eyes, there's only you. But, whether in your eyes or by your side, every day there are women of all kinds of shapes and colors appearing. Even if you're not tired of it, I can no longer bear it. Tyler, let me ask you one last question. I mustered all the strength I had left to ask, even though I already knew the answer in my heart. But if I didn't clarify, I wouldn't be at peace. Are you dating that girl named Larkley now? Tyler hesitated for a moment, and in that brief pause, I foolishly hoped he would deny it. But unfortunately, he eventually responded in a low voice with a serious acknowledgement, yes. But actually, I always. From the moment he admitted to dating Larkley, I grabbed my suitcase and walked out quickly. Whatever else he wanted to say, I didn't hear a single word. After leaving the apartment, the tears I'd been holding back finally poured out uncontrollably. I slumped into a dark, unlit corner, crying until there were no more tears left, before dragging myself away. Turns out, tears can dry up. Perhaps this proves I didn't love him that deeply after all. I returned to the student dormitory and shared a bed with a close friend. She didn't ask why because earlier this afternoon, I had told her that something had come up at home and I'd be staying here for a few days. 04, the strange security guard unable to love properly. Then I'll just work hard. After all, I've always been a workaholic. Before I liked Tyler, wasn't I living just fine on my own? Due to reasons related to the company's upcoming project, I've been working late into the night every day before leaving the office. My basic meals consist of takeout, and though Dingu Ni occasionally invites me out for dinner, having a meal with him feels like such a luxury. Besides, neither of us really has the free time for that. Being alone, in a dim and quiet environment, is when inspiration truly sparks. That's why I'm always the last to leave, not just because I don't want to return to the dormitory too early, but also to seize those creative moments. Tonight was no different. I was so absorbed in sketching designs that I completely lost track of time. Suddenly, I heard a click in the office, and everything went dark in front of me. It seemed someone had turned off the lights. I quickly looked toward the door and, sure enough, saw a middle-aged man in a security uniform standing there. "Excuse me, there's still someone here." I called out loudly as he was about to leave. Since the hallway lights were still on, I could clearly see him turn back and switch the office lights on for me. At that moment, I glanced at the clock. It was already 10:30 p.m. The company locks its doors at 11 p.m. If I didn't leave immediately, I'd end up trapped here. "Young lady, you do know there's no overtime pay for staying late, right?" The kind security guard reminded me, his tone slightly curious. "When work is done, you should head home early or go out for dinner with your boyfriend. Girls who work too obsessively aren't very charming, you know." "Well, I've never been charming anyway. Maybe that's why no one likes me." "Sir, I'm sorry. I'll save my files and leave right away. Sorry for delaying your end-of-shift routine. Good that you understand. Otherwise, you'd have to pay me overtime wages." This security guard was surprisingly practical. I hurriedly packed up my things and left the office immediately. However, the guard informed me that the elevators had already been powered down, so I'd have to use the stairs to leave. "Fine, I'll just treat it as a workout." "If you're too busy with work to find a boyfriend, you won't blame your boss, will you?" the security guard suddenly asked me. Ha! How could I? I really love this job. But honestly, loving it so much might actually mean I won't have the chance to meet other men. "Let me introduce my son to you." The security guard's unexpected remark nearly made me stumble down the stairs. My son has a great personality, is ambitious, but his only flaw is being too handsome. There's no helping it, he takes after me. I shot him a glance. This uncle not only lives in reality but also seems to be quite full of himself. If his son truly resembles him, I don't even need to see him to know there's no future there. Recently, I've been trying to set him up with someone, but he doesn't like anyone. The security guard's previously smug face suddenly turned somber. It seems like the person he likes doesn't feel the same way about him. If his son already has someone in mind, why bother introducing him to me? Isn't it blatantly obvious he's just looking for a replacement? Randomly picking a girl to stand in for the one who doesn't like his son. "Uncle, how old is your son anyway?" He's so eager to find a match for his son, he must be getting on in years, right? Do I look like someone who's reached the age to be called an auntie? Am I really that pitiful? 05, forced to go on a blind date, my son's age. I don't quite remember. The security guard frowned in thought. I think he's 19 now, in his sophomore year of university. What? 19 years old? Can I really trust what he's saying? If he's not lying, doesn't that mean his son is the same age as Tyler? Sorry, I'm not interested in guys younger than me. For someone like me, who's already failed in a relationship with a younger guy once, could I really make the same mistake again? Then, are you interested in a 26-year-old man, someone career-oriented? My brother-in-law is quite a handsome guy too. Unable to push his son onto me, the guard immediately started promoting his brother-in-law. Is this man really just a security guard? Being a guard must be his side job, his main profession is definitely matchmaking. Sir, I'm only 21 this year. You don't need to worry about my marriage. Finally stepping out of the office building, I angrily tossed back that remark and quickly ran away from the company. Do I look like the type of person who can't get married without someone introducing me? No need to introduce every man in the family to me. Who knows, the next one might even be the uncle himself. What kind of security staff does Supreme Vogue hire anyway? The next day. The following day only had morning classes, and as soon as they ended, I rushed straight to the office, intending to finish the design draft from the day before. I thought I wouldn't see that peculiar security guard again, or at least if I did, I would immediately turn around and leave. But unexpectedly, today he was standing right in front of the company gate, waiting for me. Of course, how could I forget that a security guard's job involves patrolling everywhere? If he wanted to find me, there was no escaping him, even if I tried to hide. The peculiar security guard waved enthusiastically when he saw me, but today he wasn't wearing his security uniform. Instead, he was dressed in an extremely formal suit. Seeing his outfit, I could only describe my impending fate with 2 words: doomed. Does he really want to introduce his son and brother-in-law to me? Oh no. Even if it kills me, I'm not paying any matchmaking fees, so there's no need for him to try so hard. Hello, designer. I've already arranged for my son to meet us at the restaurant. Let's head out right away, the security guard said eagerly. Sorry, I've already had lunch. Let's do it another day. Another day, I'll make sure he never catches me again. It's okay, it's just a meeting. I've already gotten permission from your superior, right? It's General Director Ding, isn't it? The security guard, afraid I wouldn't believe him, even held his phone out in front of me. If you don't believe me, you can call to confirm. In a flash, I snatched the phone from his hand. On the screen, the number for Nicotine was indeed displayed. I couldn't believe that a lowly security guard could be so familiar with the general director of Supreme Vogue. I immediately dialed Nicotine's number. After just 2 rings, the call connected. Nicotine, has some strange security guard come looking for you today? I asked while covering the phone and my mouth to ensure the guard couldn't hear. A strange security guard? No, not at all. Why would someone like that suddenly come looking for me? Nicotine replied in surprise. At that moment, I deliberately shot the guard a glare. This old man was clearly lying, but if you're going to lie, at least do it skillfully. Why claim that Nicotine had agreed? You could have said it was approved by the chairman. A busy person like the chairman surely wouldn't have the time to answer calls, making it impossible for me to expose the guard's little scheme. 06, fair treatment, huh? Wait a minute. Daisy, why are you calling me from this number? Nicotine asked in a panic. It seemed Nicotine had just realized this wasn't my phone number. But there was no need to be so alarmed, as if he knew the owner of this number or something. This phone number belongs to that eccentric security guard I told you about. What? That's impossible. Even over the phone, I could sense Nicotine's astonished voice. He told me earlier that he wanted to borrow one of the girls from our design department today. I thought it was work-related, so I agreed right away. So it turned out Nicotine had indeed sold me out. If someone wanted to buy one of his employees, would he sell them off without even asking? What does he want you for? Nicotine asked, still flustered. He wants to sell me to India to work as a housemaid. I deliberately raised my voice so everyone around could hear. If my parents lose a daughter because of this, you should head to Thailand, get a gender change, and take care of them in my place. Wait. Xiao Hua. Whatever you do, don't follow him, beep. Before Nicotine could finish his sentence, I hung up and handed the phone back to the security guard. Afterward, Nicotine called back several times, but the security guard firmly declined to answer. He told me not to go, but I was determined to do the opposite. After all, he had already given his permission. It was him who betrayed me first. Even though Nicotine didn't know the security guard specifically wanted me, would it have made any difference if it were another female employee? As a superior, shouldn't he treat everyone equally? The security guard flagged down a taxi by the roadside and took me to a hotel called The Best. Gurgle. At that moment, my stomach started protesting loudly. The truth was, I hadn't eaten a proper lunch, I'd only had a small snack during the break between classes. I'd skipped lunch entirely to save time and finish my design project. Hearing my stomach growling, the security guard couldn't stop chuckling all the way until we got out of the car. If it wasn't for my desire to enjoy a good meal, I would have lost my temper immediately. I followed the security guard step by step into the restaurant. He mentioned that his son was already waiting inside, and my eyes instinctively followed his direction. Then, to my surprise, I saw Leo Carter. Leo Carter was sitting at a table near the window, seemingly waiting for someone. Probably his girlfriend, who else could it be? At first, I planned to pretend I didn't see Leo Carter. After all, he was likely waiting for his girlfriend, and it would be awkward if there was any misunderstanding. But unexpectedly, the security guard walked straight to Leo Carter's table and stopped there. "Let me introduce you. This is my son, you can just call him Leo Carter," the security guard said, introducing Leo Carter to me. Then he turned to me and continued, "And this is the most hardworking new employee in our company. I'll let her introduce herself." What on earth? The security guard at our company is Leo Carter's father? Doesn't that mean Leo Carter is the son of Thomas Carter, the president of the entire corporation? At that moment, my mouth dropped open wide enough to fit an ostrich egg. Daisy Bloom, I'm sorry. I didn't know the blind date today would turn out to be you. Leo Carter immediately apologized sincerely. Leo Carter, don't you already have a girlfriend? I clearly remembered Sophia confidently confirming this news just the other day. No, I don't. It's just that he keeps forcing me to meet random women, Leo Carter replied with a crooked smile, looking as though he was on the verge of tears. Wait a minute. Let me sort this out. The security guard's son is Leo Carter, so the little one he mentioned must be Nicotine. Oh my gosh, is this a coincidence or intentional? But judging by Leo Carter and Nicotine's reactions, it doesn't seem like part of some elaborate plan. 07, Superior of the Superior. Uncle Security. No, wait, I should correct myself and call him Uncle Carter. After all, he's the superior of my superior. Uncle Carter was overjoyed to learn that I knew Leo Carter. He couldn't stop praising me. Even though this was only the second time I had met him, he said he had noticed me for a while, thinking I was energetic, hardworking, ambitious, and unafraid of challenges or hardships. Honestly, I'm not as great as he described. Who doesn't work hard for the things they care about? It's really just that simple. After sitting together for about half an hour, Uncle Carter hadn't eaten much before he deliberately excused himself, creating an opportunity for Leo Carter and me to have some private time. The atmosphere suddenly became awkward. Previously, when I was with Leo Carter, I never felt this way. I always thought of him as a younger brother, naturally giving me a feeling of wanting to care for and protect him. But today, Leo Carter seemed more mature, more composed, and at the age where he could start looking for a romantic partner. You're only 19 years old. Why is your dad in such a rush to find someone for you to date? Although Uncle Carter had mentioned earlier that Leo Carter liked someone who didn't feel the same way about him, that doesn't mean he should randomly choose a girl to date because of it. Isn't being in a relationship without love even more painful than unrequited love? Because Dad thinks I like boys. The water I had just sipped sprayed directly onto Leo Carter as I heard this shocking reason. Sorry, I quickly apologized and helped clean him up. Actually, you can't really blame my dad. I'm not good at communicating with girls, and all my friends are guys, Leo Carter explained awkwardly. Even so, does he really need to suspect his son of being gay? Poor Leo Carter. How could he have such a father? But honestly, their whole family is far from ordinary. truly a unique household. If you don't mind, let me be your girlfriend. When I made this decision, it wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thought. Perhaps this is destiny's arrangement. For Leo Carter to like me, for Tyler to leave me, and for us to coincidentally become blind date partners. Even if orchestrated by people, I still believe it's fate's design. There was a time when I thought my relationship with Tyler was a miracle in my life. But now I understand that miracles only exist in fleeting moments. Life doesn't have everlasting miracles. Leo Carter was so shocked that he couldn't recover for a long time. What? Say that again. If anyone will do, then let me be Leo Carter's girlfriend. After all, I don't have a boyfriend right now, and apart from him being younger than me, there's nothing bad about him. If you feel reluctant, you can refuse. If someday you like someone else, you can leave me without a second thought. There was a time when I told myself I couldn't accept Leo Carter with a playful mindset. Yet now, I hope he accepts me with just that mindset. Daisy Bloom, do you not like Tyler anymore? Leo Carter immediately asked, visibly upset. I like Tyler, but he no longer likes me, I admitted. I knew this wasn't fair to Leo Carter, so I gave him the choice. Maybe I can't forget him, maybe I can't like you. So, you can either accept me or leave me anytime you want. Then, can I go eat with you, watch movies, go shopping, sing karaoke, and hold hands with you? Leo Carter asked emotionally, his eyes brimming with tears. Yes. I nodded firmly. These simple things, I can still do them. 08, Freedom Love. I had been dating Leo Carter for a week, and everything was going wonderfully. He was just like before, innocent, silly, and full of energy. Now, I get to see Leo Carter at the company every day. He even admitted that he had intentionally avoided coming to Supreme Vogue before because of me. However, I asked him to keep our relationship a secret, as I didn't want to stir up rumors at work. Leo Carter is the son of the chairman and the future heir of Supreme Vogue. Meanwhile, I'm just a new employee who hasn't even passed the probation period. If people found out about us, I would undoubtedly face a lot of backlash. But no matter how careful we were, mistakes were unavoidable. Nicotine had learned about my relationship with Leo Carter from Mr. Carter and immediately dragged me out to the balcony for questioning. I heard you're dating Leo Carter, is that true? Nicotine was so shocked he looked like he was about to explode. What's so surprising about this? Back when I was dating Tyler, he was completely calm about it. It's true, but please keep it a secret for us. I crossed my fingers in front of my lips, signaling him not to spill the beans. You two cannot date. No matter what, it's not allowed right now. Nicotine grabbed my hand and pulled it down. Why? Why can't we date? And what do you mean by right now? Nicotine's unusually intense reaction scared me. Whether it was a command or advice, he needed to give me a reasonable explanation. Otherwise, how could I accept it? Daisy, if you trust me, then listen to me. Nicotine reminded me once again, carefully. Nicotine, I'm sorry. If this isn't something truly serious, I can't accept it. I was the one who suggested dating Leo Carter, so how could I break up with him after just 1 week? Haven't I already hurt him enough? Enough that he once avoided me? Even though I haven't truly fallen in love with Leo Carter yet, there's no one else on this earth as kind as him. Even if it's selfish, I want to cherish him properly. If the two of you don't break up, I'll tell the entire company about your relationship and let the power of the crowd stop you. TSK, TSK, TSK. This man, nearing 40, doesn't bother finding a girlfriend himself but has the nerve to oppose others being in love. Does he think he's God? Humans weren't created by him, so he has no right to interfere with free love. Humph, do as you please. Worst case, I'll quit. I tossed my head nonchalantly, confidently striding back to my office. What's the big deal about being opposed by the whole company? Mr. Carter already supports us, so what's there to fear? Besides, if I quit, the one who'll have the biggest headache will be Nicotine. The blueprint for the battle against the tornado is in my hands. Only when my plan gets approved will I be the commander-in-chief of this project. Therefore, Nicotine absolutely wouldn't dare act recklessly right now. Ha! All the cards and pieces are in place. Tonight, it's a date with Leo Carter. Since there's a movie I'm really interested in tonight, I took the initiative to invite Leo Carter to watch it with me. But unexpectedly, when I was buying tickets at the cinema, I ran into Tyler, who had also just arrived with his girlfriend, Lolly. Ever since Tyler started dating this girl named Lolly, they've been inseparable, like a pair of shoes always together. When we were together, he never stuck to me like that. Clearly, he didn't love me enough. Humph, so what if she's a famous model and the heiress of a major corporation? Leo Carter and I are a fashion designer and the heir to a branded company, thank you very much. I deliberately clung tightly to Leo Carter's arm, acting very intimate, intentionally letting Tyler notice. Hey, Tyler. You're here too. Watch the clouds bloom too. Leo Carter casually greeted Tyler. But Tyler didn't respond. He just glared furiously at my hand, which was looped around Leo Carter's arm. Surprised, aren't you? That I'm now dating your best friend. Honestly, I'd much prefer someone else holding my hand in front of Tyler, so things wouldn't feel so awkward and uncomfortable for everyone. But since Tyler and I are completely done, no longer lovers, not even friends, who I date has nothing to do with him, right? Yet, Tyler suddenly said nothing, forcefully pulling me away from Leo Carter, grabbing my hand tightly, and dragging me out of the cinema. 09, that's it for now. What on earth just happened? Tyler's unexpected actions left me, Leo Carter, and Lolly completely stunned. Tyler, are your eyes off today? I'm not your Lolly. The person you're looking for must be Lolly, right? I've had enough. I don't want to see that girl anymore. And I certainly don't want to hand you over to anyone else. Tyler suddenly shouted, his voice filled with agitation. But he wasn't directing his words at me, instead, he was speaking to the space ahead as he kept walking forward without stopping. His unexpected declaration left me both shocked and strangely delighted. Could it be that Tyler doesn't like Lolly? Was he doing all of this just to put on an act for us? But why would he go to such lengths? Tyler, where are you taking me? The movie has already started. This is a film I adore, and it was no easy feat to secure first-class tickets. Forget about the movie. You've never watched a film with me, yet you're cozying up to watch one with that guy. Are you trying to drive me insane on purpose? The one truly being driven insane here is me. I'm the one who's been left behind. After so much effort to finally get a boyfriend, you've ruined my date in less than 3 seconds. And yet, I can't bring myself to be angry with Tyler. Even as he scolds me, though I feel a little scared, there's more joy than fear. Compared to a silent Tyler who says nothing, I prefer him yelling at me. No matter how harsh his tone, how loud his voice, or how long it lasts, I feel it's a form of care filled with raw emotion. Tyler has always expressed his feelings in this way, and as expected, I still can't let go of him. I thought Tyler would take me home, but to my surprise, he brought me to Nicotine's studio. Even though it was nighttime, Nicotine was still in the studio, watching recordings of major international fashion shows. Bang! A loud noise echoed as Tyler turned off Nicotine's screen and tossed the remote control onto the table. That's it. I won't act in this play anymore. Find someone else. Tyler said to Nicotine, his words like a cryptic signal that left me utterly confused. There's only 1 week left until the summer premiere, and now you're pulling this on me. How am I supposed to negotiate with the Tide faction now? I don't care. I'm not your pawn. I entrusted you with the most important thing, and you handed it over to the wrong people. I'll never trust you again. I had no idea what Tyler had entrusted to Nicotine, but at this moment, Nicotine shot me a sharp, icy glare, as cold as a blade. I couldn't help but shiver. What did I do? Why are you looking at me like that? Sensing Nicotine's hostility toward me, Tyler immediately pulled me into his protective embrace. At that moment, Tyler finally explained the whole story to me. To win this battle, Nicotine had sent Tyler as a double agent for both the Tide faction and DC. Nicotine had discovered that all the counterfeit materials for the Supreme Vogue products were being supplied by DC to the Tide faction. The owner of DC had only one daughter, named Lolly, who was logically the sole heir of DC. Thus, they planned to start their operation with Lolly. Actually, there was no need to go as far as deceiving her feelings, but the Tide faction, in order to strengthen their position, proposed a political marriage with DC. Lolly's parents wanted her to marry the over 30-year-old eldest son of the Tide faction. For the greater good, she initially agreed. However, later, under Tyler's approach, she gradually developed feelings for him. To ensure the plan unfolded smoothly, they had to keep everything a secret from everyone, including me. I am a designer for Supreme Vogue, and if the opposing side discovered my connection to Tyler, it would undoubtedly prevent Tyler from completing his mission. Thus, Tyler had no choice but to sever ties with me. Nicotine not becoming a director is truly a waste of talent, coming up with such a terrible script and still pretending to be clever. I believe that relying solely on our designs and quality is more than enough to surpass them. There's absolutely no need for these shady tactics. Moreover, toying with someone else's emotions is truly reprehensible. Poor Lolly. 10. The Season of Eternal Flowers. Whatever motives you have, I will never forgive you. They probably think their plan is grand, but in reality, it's not even worth a pig's effort. Now I have to go back and watch a movie with Leo Carter. Your problems? Solve them yourselves. It's not just our problem. Just as I resolutely turned my back, Nicotine spoke in a low voice, this is everyone's problem. Don't think fighting alone makes you noble. If it's everyone's issue, then everyone should work together to resolve it. If all you know is playing tricks, how are you any different from the Tide faction? I had always thought Nicotine was a dedicated designer, but this situation completely exposed his true face. I'm going to explain everything to Lolly now. Daisy will forgive me, won't she? Tyler asked, poking my arm with an innocent look. If this announcement doesn't achieve outstanding results, Supreme Vogue will end here. Nicotine, who was always mature and composed like a dormant volcano, suddenly erupted. I can't let it be defeated. I can't let it be destroyed under my watch. You're overestimating yourself. You don't have to shoulder all the responsibility alone. If Supreme Vogue belongs to everyone, then we all need to work together. To comfort Nicotine, who had worked himself to exhaustion, I hugged him for the first time like a child. Tyler joined in, embracing us as if all three of us had forgiven one another. Even though I couldn't agree with their methods, their intentions were right, so I couldn't bring myself to hate them. Later, Tyler confessed the truth to Lolly. He had approached her only to prevent an